It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at U-Like, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. U-Like. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AppPace.
AppPace.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are live in the Alico building here in Central Texas, presented by Slovacics, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, brokering a couple more deals that are coming your way. But, of course, you can't forget about Socorro Family Ford either. And we would also like to say thank you to our friends at Crawford Austin Properties, doing a great job of helping us make this happen. And Scotty, of course, keeping us on the air on the wheels of steel over there, the turntables, the Funkmaster Flex of the Pete Sousa Show. We are going to start today with a historic day in the NBA, and this is perfect because one of our key rotating posters here is Sports Illustrated. It's May 20th, 1985 is the SI date. If you're watching this on YouTube or Twitter, and thank you, by the way, for watching us, you can see the picture right here. The Knicks win Patrick Ewing, jackpot. If you're driving and listening to the podcast version, you know the picture, you know the Sports Illustrated. 40 years ago tonight, that draft lottery took place in New York City. Tonight, it will take place in Chicago. Now, tonight's lottery won't have the seismic impact that Patrick Ewing had on the NBA, but it'll have an impact, man. There's no question. Like, this is for the second year in a row, a draft lottery that we can actually all get excited for. The destination of Cooper Flagg is going to be huge for the NBA, and there's certain places he may or may not land. I want to go through the percentages in a moment and the possible impact he could have in certain places. But the conspiracy talk around the 1985 draft lotteries is one of my favorite stories of all time. I don't believe it because if it was real, it was like a one-off, okay? Like, because you think about it, right? Why wouldn't the NBA draft rig more draft lotteries? Because clearly that one worked out pretty well, and there's been plenty others after it. Like, like look at last year. Like Wemby, San Antonio, like you would rather have him in like New York, LA, Philly, right? Some of those pieces are actually in the conversation tonight for Cooper Flagg. Philly, one of them for sure. But 40 years ago tonight, the draft lottery allegedly, and I don't believe this, by the way, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but a lot of people do believe it. The draft lottery was fixed. And how did they fix it, right? I had experiences with David Stern working in NBA PR. Very limited. I heard him talk once about who's the point guard from Jeff Teague. He played with the Mavs for a while. When Jeff Teague, it was like 2005, 2006, around that time, maybe a little later, when he was talking about smoking weed. 2007 maybe, he got busted a couple times. And that day, the commissioner came to Philadelphia for a playoff game, and I remember walking around with him and Maureen from the NBA, and he was talking about Jeff Teague. And just like the commissioner was so cool. It was so cool to be around him because he really did. And it wasn't a condescending thing as far as I understood, but he looked at the NBA and the players almost as his children. And like on that day, it was clear that like Jeff Teague, one of his kids, was acting out. And he wasn't very happy. And he was just a very wise man. And, I forget what he said about Jeff Teague, but it was like one of those things that was like profound enough that I think I at least remembered it for the next 10 years. I don't remember it anymore. But they tried to say that the commissioner was at the center of this controversy of fixing the 1985 draft. Now, how did they do it? Well, apparently, the story goes, back then, it wasn't quite as legitimized as far as like who was overseeing it now. Like I remember they had, whether it was Deloitte and Touche, Lloyds of London, somebody would oversee the whole thing. That's how they do it now, right? To make sure that we keep it like right down the fairway and make it legitimate. Back then, the story goes that the Knicks, who so badly needed a star, and if New York has a star, the NBA has a star, they put the Knicks envelope in the freezer and froze the envelope, right? So when the envelope was mixed with the rest of those things, and I think back then it was like the thing you would turn, right, that you see almost at like bingo night or whatever, right? So that thing was frozen. So the commissioner would put his hand in, and he would feel for the frozen envelope, right? And he knew to avoid that frozen envelope up until the very last selection, which would be the Knicks. And if you watch the tape of it, he takes like a really deep breath. And he grabs it, and that's Patrick Ewing. And Dave DeBusschere, God rest his soul, was a representative for the Knicks at the draft lottery. And it changed the franchise. Now, obviously, would have been nice for the Knicks to get a title out of it. They didn't. A lot of circumstances surround that. Two words, Michael Jordan, come to mind. And tonight's lottery, there should be a lot of excitement around it. Cooper Flagg is he's a one in a life. What do they say? A generational talent. I believe he's a generational talent. And one of the things in talking to like Paul Biancardi about him from ESPN, talking to other people around the NBA, Cooper Flagg is also Like, he's got that hunger, that work ethic that a Michael Jordan had. I'm not in any way comparing him to Michael Jordan, but he has that edge to get better and better, and that work ethic that the great ones have, that, like, he will do the lonely work in between the workouts that are official that could actually elevate him and propel him to superstardom in the NBA. As far as the odds tonight, to get Cooper Flag, now remember, it starts tonight. I love this because it starts at 6 p.m. our time. Like, come on. Perfect. And it's right before the Knicks-Celtics game. By the way, we got Cam Stewart coming up in segment 3 to talk about Knicks-Celtics. Probably the biggest game the Knicks have played in 25 years, maybe. But let's look back now. Tonight's draft. The top chance to get Cooper Flag, and I think that this will be the best destination for him, and it will be the best for this organization, the Utah Jazz. Right? Like, Cooper Flag fits right in Utah, and he's a little bit of a low-maintenance guy, and I think that, like, a lot of people are not dying to go to Utah, but Cooper Flag grew up in Maine, right? Like, he will be fine going to Utah. The Jazz, although Ryan Miller, their new owner, who's done an amazing job, has tried to debunk all the theories like, oh, like, free agents want to come to Utah, and we have a great city, and it's a major market, and blah, blah, blah. Like, people are not dying. NBA players are not dying to go to Salt Lake City. It's beautiful. Everybody likes it. But it's just not a place that a lot of those guys feel comfortable living. The Washington Wizards, also at 14%. Amazed. That would be an amazing acquisition. I think that's one of the best fan bases in the NBA. In football, too, and even in hockey with the Capitals. Like, Washington just has an amazing fan base, and those people have kind of been forgotten about. The Redskins last year, a great season, right? But they have not been at the forefront of success, like in the NFL or in Major League Baseball. They did win a World Series a couple years ago, so how about that? But obviously, that team is starving, the Wizards, that organization. So they're at 14.3. My Charlotte Hornets are at 14%. Next in line are the New Orleans Pelicans at 12.5%. Then you got the Sixers at 10.5. The Sixers will be crazy because if Cooper Flag went to Philadelphia, I almost feel like, as a Sixers fan, like, I wouldn't even feel good about that because, the Sixers were just gross this year from start to finish, even all the way back to the Embiid extension, which I think I said right here on this show, like, how much I did not like that. And it's not because I'm a rocket scientist. It's because, like, I just kind of listen and watch a little bit. And the Brooklyn Nets are at 9%, and the Raptors are at 7%. The Spurs are at 6% to get them. Then the Suns at 3.8%. Corey Dickman's Trailblazers at 3.7%. The Mavs at 1.8%. The Kings at 1.7%. And the Kings, I think, at 0. No. Yeah, the Kings at 0.8. So the funny thing about the Mavs is, like, wouldn't that be a shame? Like, the Mavs actually get Cooper Flag, and it's, like, so awesome for Mavs fans who got so screwed with what happened with Luka. But at the same time, like, are we really looking to bail out Nico Harrison? Not quite yet. It's the worst trade of all time. I asked Scotty before the show, do you care? Won't you be excited if they were to get Cooper Flag? And what did you say, Scotty?
I said, I am no longer a Dallas Mavericks fan.
And you're serious about that?
Yeah. I won't root for them as long as Nico's there.
What if they get Cooper Flag?
Good for them. That's cool.
You're
Whatever. I'm also on the record with you, though, and I think on this show of saying I don't think Cooper Flag's going to be that good in the NBA. I'm on the record. What did I say? I think he's a slightly better Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I could be dead wrong.
Yeah.
I think VJ Edgecombe has more upside, but I'm also biased. So
I don't know, man. Cooper's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
It's
so is Marino Dubracic. What's that got to do with anything?
Northern Iowa's next great. Marino, Scotty and I were just talking about Marino. I said, where's he playing? He said, Northern Iowa. He said, not any place big. I said, well, good. Maybe he'll have a chance to figure out how to play basketball.
Hey, so should we
All right, let's go. So all right, just a quick little breaking news. We told you about the draft lottery. We might revisit it. I can't wait. I'm pumped. So I came in here this morning, and there's a little scuttlebutt, I guess, on the message boards about Baylor wide receiver Ashton Hawkins, who, by the way, has Texas State transfer, has like the biggest hands in college football, is as tough as they come. I love Ashton Hawkins playing for Baylor and Dave Aranda. I think like any little chance you get to have like that grit and talent and like edge on a Baylor team, like you need that. And he provided, he had one huge drop. I forget when it was, but he had one huge drop this year. That was in the bowl game, right?
Well, in the bowl game, he actually made one of the most spectacular touchdown
but it was
catches
called
I've
back.
ever seen, but it was called back in the craziest review I think
Okay.
I've ever seen. So, by the way, I'm not taking this from any boards. I don't subscribe to boards. I got 2 texts in the last 20 minutes about this. One asking me a question. I said, I don't know anything about that. One confirming some things. This is just a rumor for now. Nothing has been officially decided. Rumor is Texas Tech bought him.
No way.
That's the rumor. Just a rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. But if it's announced in the next few days that Ashton Hawkins is going to Texas Tech,
But you got that from a source, not like a message board.
I got it. I got that from a source. But even he said it's just a rumor.
Okay.
So I don't think anybody's heard from him. So I don't want to say this is happening. Whatever.
Ashton Hawkins.
Please stay at Baylor. Please stay at Baylor.
And if you're going to Texas Tech, just let everybody know. Put us out of our misery right now.
Yeah, facts.
And then you're talking to a dude.
Hey, and at least Tech. I went on a rant last week about how I'm bummed that Baylor's not playing Texas Tech, but I'd rather not see Ashton Hawkins line up across from us next year. That would really hurt. I really like that guy.
Sucks.
He's a good player.
Yeah. Well, this is a fear. Look, I told you about this, Scotty, and you didn't want to hear it, but I told you, and I think I said this to Mosley too, like, and I hate saying I told you so, but this was something I figured was in the realm of possibility, was these talented football players at Baylor going into a summer where like there's no rules, there's no guardrails, like, somebody walks up to Ashton Hawkins and said, I'll give you $4 million or $2 million to come play at Texas Tech. Like, why the hell would Ashton Hawkins ever say no to that?
Right. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube and you have any insight on this, feel free to comment.
Yeah,
by the way,
please.
Scotty B or Bear the Truth or anyone watching on Twitter.
But why would Ashton Hawkins say no to that? I mean, this is a guy who probably will not play in the NFL. I mean, maybe he will, but a long shot.
Hard to say. I think he's got draft potential. I do.
Okay, I think it's a real long shot. Okay, there's a lot of guys out there with draft potential. I think he's a real long shot, but that means that now is the time for Ashton Hawkins to make money. Whatever, broken record. You've heard it a million times before. But
no, it's true. But this. Let's pretend the rumor's true. It doesn't. I don't think it changes anything for Baylor on the field next season.
Yeah, but it goes back to the conversations I've had with people around the Big 12, people who actually know what the hell they're talking about. That Texas Tech is a juggernaut in waiting on so many different levels because of the money that they have.
Yeah. Well, you were just at the Big 12 softball tournament, and
Nigel Kennedy and
that
it's
NIL
funny.
investment paid off.
Yeah, a $1.2 million arm, and also that was through the Matador Club that we always hear about at Texas Tech, which is like. Forgive me with the terminology, but I think it's like their biggest collective.
Their collective, yeah.
Yeah, and so the Matador Club is like eventually it will go through the Matador Club. Like I heard that there was a family that was connected with softball that loved Jerry Glasgow, their head coach. That was like, yeah, we'll do it. That was almost like a found money situation. Whereas I think they had more of a relationship with the softball coach. And they had a relationship with the school, so it was like both. Like, oh, bang, Jerry is here, our coach, Jerry Glasgow. We're Texas Tech people. We're going to pony up some big bucks and get this done. So it's a wild time, and I do hate this for fan bases. I think it's complete malarkey that, like, Scotty Swingler and I'll even consider myself, I always say I'm Baylor adjacent, like especially getting ready to call some Baylor games last year specifically, because You know, I remember when Baylor played Texas State, I called that game for ESPN. I was so excited to see Ashton Hawkins on Texas State because he had so many big games against Baylor. That one game where Texas State won, he was actually kind of quiet. He had a couple catches, but he didn't light it on fire. So then he comes back on the radar, obviously, when he's transferring to Baylor. And he comes this year, and he just gives the team such a shot in the arm. And I think it's like, again, upperclassman, work ethic, like grit, like nothing handed to this dude.
I love his on-field attitude.
Yeah, dude.
I love guys that get on the field and are relentless, and he's one of those. You love his composure and his competitiveness.
This rumor, potential story is, and maybe reality is just a microcosm of what we're up against with this stuff. You know, like heartbreak is right around the corner. And
again, I just want to repeat to put this in context. Rumor, he could be in green and gold this fall. We'll hope for that. I might add that into my prayers tonight. And Baylor still has Kobe Prentice, Cole Wilson from the transfer portal. I would much rather it, no shade at Ashton. I would much rather be Ashton than Bryson Washington or Sawyer Robertson, right? Or even Josh Cameron, So
why would you much rather be Ashton than those guys?
Because of what they bring on the football field.
Oh, you would much rather it be Ashton.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. If the rumors were going to come, at least it's Ashton, and I'm like, dang, that sucks.
Yeah.
But okay.
And if
it was Bryson, I'd be like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I'd be freaking
Well, and
out.
if you were probably to look at it on paper, if there's one guy who might not be getting his on the roster, it could be Ashton.
Yeah.
For all we know.
Well, because all those guys I just named have probably earned more.
Yeah. But honestly, being a college football or college basketball fan, it's like, and we've all done it, it's like dating a toxic partner, right? Like, you wake up every day and you don't know what you're going to get from them.
Or what the mood's going to be.
No, you don't know what the mood's going to be. You don't know if they're leaving town. You don't know if they're going to go dark on you. Like, think about that. Like, right now, maybe there's guys from Baylor, officials, that are trying to get to Ashton and figure out what the hell is going on. And maybe he's, like, not getting back to him because he's figuring it out. Like, that's a bad place to be in a relationship, where there's a lack of communication and transparency and clarity. That's every day now following the NCAA and your team, your favorite team.
Well, and remind folks we had Mitt Winter on to talk about developments in this area and how this could start getting regulated or fleshed out in a different way in the future. But, for now, it's just crazy, man. It's just going to keep expanding in this way until there are some guardrails placed around it.
All right, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about a couple things. I want to obviously we got Cam Stewart coming back in segment 3. I want to talk a little bit about the NBA and the NBA playoffs. Of course, we'll hit that with Cam. The Pope. You're going to love this. Bear the truth. My mom knows the Pope. We'll talk about that coming back on the Pete Sousa Show.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
NBA on NBC. So this is a tweet from, NBC. This is the tweet, a legendary addition to our team. We are thrilled to welcome Michael Jordan as a special contributor to the NBA on NBC and Peacock. Now, I've searched around, also seen a couple other folks who have tweeted about this, like Richard Deitch from The Athletic, Barrett Media. It's not quite known what the role will be for Jordan, but he's back, right? I mean, how awesome is that, dude? So Michael Jordan is going to be contributing, and he is so careful with his legacy. I mean, there's a bit of a stain on his legacy as an owner with the Bobcats and Hornets, but he does not want to do this and suck. Michael Jordan's not thirsty. I think he wants to be around the game. I think he's doing it because he wants to do it. And I welcome it. Like, I'm not one of those people like, what if he sucks? It'll be a bad thing. Like, no, I think it'll be awesome. It'll bring a lot of people to the table simply for nostalgia reasons. The NBA on NBC, Round Ball Rock by John Tesh, I mean, still can give you goosebumps. And Michael Jordan being a part of that coverage can certainly give you some big-time goosebumps. Scotty, what are your initial thoughts on this? Do you think that he would be any good at this?
I don't know.
Okay.
I could see him being very good at it or not.
Yeah, okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
And I have a question and then a comp.
Okay.
My question is this in any way, shape, or form partially motivated by the GOAT in another sport, Tom Brady, making that jump? And my follow-up, my comparison is Tom Brady had kind of a rough first year as a broadcaster, I think. I think most people would agree. As an on-air color analyst, kind of mid.
Yeah.
Certainly room to improve. Maybe next season he's amazing.
Yeah.
But I think he was a little below people's expectations. So how good you are on the court, on the field, doesn't mean you're going to be a great broadcaster, obviously.
Yeah.
But how much do you think the Tom Brady thing, does it have anything to do with
No,
this
I don't
decision?
think so.
You don't think he's competing with Brady at all?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, great.
I do think he's competing with LeBron, maybe. and no, because look, it's almost like The Last Dance. Like, he'll be back out there. His face will be back out there. It will kind of put some more juice back into his image.
And one of the things
and
LeBron,
his legacy.
LeBron has done media well.
Yeah.
Like when we've talked about this before, but when he starred in that comedy with Bill Hader, that was amazing.
Trainwreck. Yeah, he was
Trainwreck.
really good.
That was incredible. So like LeBron's had some of that exposure in a good way.
He has. And I think that he's also obsessed with being known as like the best player of all time. So the two of them going back and forth. So I would say it could be more related to LeBron than Tom Brady. This is a prediction I have, and I'll say it's almost a guarantee. You will, and I don't mean to take the air out of this, I doubt we'll see Michael Jordan live, right? Like, I think if you do see him, it could be taped stuff.
Lame.
I'm just saying.
Lame.
Like, to curate his image and to be careful with that, like, I don't know that you would see a ton of him live. That's just a feeling I have, especially when you hear contributor.
You think it would be more like what Bill Belichick did for ESPN, where I'm sitting in a room breaking down tape?
I don't think he wants to do that. So
you
no.
don't?
No, Michael Jordan doesn't want to like break down. He doesn't want. In my opinion, I don't think
fans would dig that, but
they would. I will be shocked.
Okay, that's not his vibe either.
No.
So what kind of segment are you pre-taping with Michael Jordan that you're going to curate that he can't do live?
Well, he's doing something with somebody else, where they can sort of drive the bus, and then he will be a part of it. So maybe it will be like, maybe you got our boy out there. I can't believe his name is escaping me. Like the best guy, Mike Tirico, is doing something with him. And where they talk to somebody else. I don't know, but I just think I think he's been so guarded with his image and his like presence on camera and in live situations now. I don't understand why that would change.
But do you think, and I say this because it leads into what Bear the Truth is spam commenting. I think he's very excited for Michael Jordan to take this role as a Chicago guy. But do you think, you say that, but if you look at Charles Barkley or Shaq, those guys have done stupid things on camera. They've said stupid things on mic. We showed Shaq 2 weeks ago getting up to take a dump in the middle of a segment, right? And people adore them for it. Like it has not hurt their image at all. It's helped their image. With that in mind, Bear the Truth said, that dude will bring it. You think Barkley is unfiltered. Jordan will be incredible. And then he said, color guy. But you disagree.
No way. As far as I see it right now, I would say no way, because they would have said he's joining us as an analyst.
Sure.
Like they said contributor. Contributor could mean like,
it could mean 2 minutes a thing.
Yeah, or like a thing every like 2 months.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Either way, I am so excited about this and here for this. And yeah, it pumps up the coverage. I'll say too, as I hold this softball. Okay, you can't see who it is, but so it's Cat Osterman, right? So we did the Big 12 softball together, and we had a foul ball roll up in our booth, and it was in the last game we did together, and we were all done. And I had thought when it rolled in, I was like, I gotta get her to autograph that so I can put it up here for the show and have it. And we were talking about like, some administrative stuff, actually, the work we were doing for ESPN and the Big 12. And then I was like, will you sign this? And she was like, so cool. Of course. She was like, oh my God. Yeah, totally. And I told her about my show. And, but it was, okay. Like think about my history as a broadcaster. I'll tell you about it, 'cause you never think about it. Why would you? But I've never worked with somebody who was at the very, very top of their sport. I just like, it's just not I've called games with a lot of very good coaches and very good players, and even, NBA players for a while, but never somebody who's considered the best in their sport. Kat Osterman is considered probably maybe the best in her sport. And it's not like she carries herself with this grandiose ego or anything that's like out of line at all. She was an absolute like delightful person to be around, but there was something special about her when she talked about, and to prepare, another thing for young broadcasters, I could have had a better tournament if I'm like breaking it down. I was like a little disappointed in some of the stuff. There's so many different, I felt like I was a little too reactive. I wasn't like as on top of all my calls, because in a tournament like that, you feel like you're shepherding so many different players into your games and your broadcasts that I sometimes got a little lost in like controlling the environment as opposed to attacking it. But I mean, by all accounts, it was a great broadcast, no issues at all. So, but working with her, I listened to a bunch of podcasts about her beforehand, so I knew exactly like what I could talk to her about, what could get her going, and like the work ethic that like she played softball all the time, like all day, every day, like, and we're talking about like it was a number one priority for her, right? Like in between special sessions of working with the coach, like she would work by herself like this. And we're not talking about practices. The extra work, here's an example. She's doing a workout now where it requires her to work out twice a day. She has a young kid. The kid's on the trip with her. Her husband's there, like awesome family. And she was like, yeah, I got to go back to the hotel. This is after we called 4 games one day, and I got to get 45 minutes of working out in. And I was like, like I couldn't imagine doing anything else but crawling into bed and passing out. And she's going to work out for 45 minutes. Like, that's greatness. Like, and it's really cool to be around that. It's almost intimidating, really, because I at times maybe almost got in my head about it. Like, gosh, she was so good. And I worked last year with Natasha Watley, who is another one of the best softball players of all time. But I think there's a different mindset to a pitcher, right? Like every time Kat Osterman took the ball in the circle, like she was expected to either shut out or no hit her opponent. But early in her career, like when she was in high school, she was expected, when she was in 9th grade, she told her dad, hey, I just want to be able to walk on at Texas. But she worked so hard, right, to get herself into a position where she was one of the best players in the country. Yeah, she's got the athleticism and the size and the skill. But it's just really, it was like, so that's Michael Jordan, right? Like, and that's Tom Brady. Like, it's a perfect segue back to MJ taking this job, because somebody like that is just not going to like, they're just not like, I'm telling you, Charles Barkley is different. Shaq is different. Like, you know, I saw the quote from the old trainer, Gary Vitti. And I don't know if it was a segment taken out of his book, but he was an old trainer for the Lakers. And he said, you know, I wanted Shaq to be the best possible version of Shaq he could be. And Shaq just didn't have the same plans. And it doesn't mean Shaq wasn't one of the best players of all time or in the conversation, but, you know, he wasn't getting the absolute most out of his abilities. Barkley, not either. You know, like Charles liked to drink and party, and so did Michael. But there was that just like something special about being the best that Michael had. And I think the Cat has, and I think that Tom Brady has. And it's just like, I'm going to eat you alive right now when we're competing. And there's like, there's an air, you can feel it, I guess is what I'm talking about. When you're around that for an elongated period of time, like you got to remember, I spent 3 days working with her on the air for many hours a day, sometimes 12 hours. And I'm just like, wow, there's a different feel to this person. And it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool electric thing to be around. Okay, so we talked about MJ. I'm very interested in that. Big news this morning, more breaking news. NBC, we're going to stick with them as they just continue their heater this morning. Eagles and Cowboys, September 4th. All right, Scotty, let's play. I know the line for this game. Guess the spread for September 4th. Cowboys at Eagles. Okay, this is a great look for the Cowboys, by the way. I think so. But guess the spread.
I just saw a tweet that said the NFL did this to stick it to the Cowboys, and I respect it. Minus 5.5.
-7. The Cowboys could get lit on fire in this game.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite possible they could get destroyed.
Totally.
Because
you never know in week one, though.
You never know in week one. That's so true. You never know in week one. By the way, I have a whole quick, like, I'll just do a quick aside. This might not be popular, but, like, I also think, like, in news, and I love how he takes himself off for this because he knows it could be, like, a combustible deal. In news and politics, we're sort of the same. And as it relates to being a fan of sports, the stock market today is like a rocket ship, okay? The economy looks like it might be back on track. Let's just say that, okay? But a couple weeks ago, when some of my Republican buddies they reference it as Liberation Day, right? The day with Scotty's getting sick, the day with the tariffs. But like on that day, you would have thought that the sky was falling and the world was coming to an end, right? Now it's like, okay, like I think we might be back on track here. We might be up to, and today you could say above a 500 team. But like the whole thing, like the news cycle and politics and business, like it's just like being an NFL fan. Like after the Eagles lost in week 3 to the Buccaneers, like Sirianni, they were like, fire him, get him out of here. And like, that's the same thing with the NFL. Like, right? Like we are, as fans, we're so beholden to these moments and what is happening right now and the overreaction. Like it's the same thing with the economy and the news. Like the sky is falling and oh, now it's not. Like God forbid anybody out there take a friggin' macro view from 30,000 feet as to what the hell is going on. And that's a little thread coming from somebody who knows nothing about nothing, but it did hit me. Like it's all the same. As human beings, we are so freaking reactive to what's going on in the moment that sometimes we can't see the forest through the trees, myself included. But I did think that like it's almost like the NBA, the NFL football season. So I'm excited about this game, though. Very excited, and I'm excited that it's in Philadelphia. And if we take away that part that Scotty and I were just talking about in my little mini rant there, my comparison, the Eagles should beat the brakes off the Cowboys. They're that good. The way they ended the season last year was that good. But again, there's so much going on in the first week. I do remember a thread to this. Go ahead.
You know, it would actually be the most Dallas Cowboys thing to happen ever. It would actually be if the Cowboys, if they go to Philadelphia, win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, yeah, Brian Schottenheimer, CeeDee Lamb, we back. George Pickens, yes.
Yeah.
And then the Cowboys go like 7-10. That would be the most Dallas Cowboys arc ever.
Well, it's kind of what happened last year. Dak signed the big contract on the opening day against the Browns, and they annihilated Cleveland. And
it turned out to be really bad.
Oh, I was like, this Dallas is going to go to the Super Bowl. Okay, one more thing before we bring in Cam Stewart. So I'm working the softball games, and my phone starts blowing up. My mom, friends of mine from home, a lot of Villanova people. The Pope is a Villanova graduate, right? Come on. How about this? Great headline. So Leo, it was a Villanova grad, right? And my mom knows him. Okay. My mom used to tell me, and I wanted to have her on here, but I don't want to like shock her. I might do it in person soon, but like she used to tell me I play Words with Friends with Cardinal Prevost, which I'm like, okay, like what time are the Eagles on? You know, like if I'm home, I'm like, I don't have much interest in that. Like, but it was my mom, very Catholic woman, worked with all the priests of Villanova. She literally worked like when the priests moved buildings from Villanova, like she oversaw the priests moving. She's like really in deep over there. Okay. So, and I got a lot of like favorable experiences, like great dudes from Villanova, Father Rob Hagan, Villanova's team chaplain. Just like great, a lot of great people, right? My mom was so tight with them. One of the guys, of course, who comes through her life now is Cardinal Prevost, because he's like, you know, in the upper echelon of Catholic priests. Even so far as to like, you know, there's houses that priests live in not far from where I grew up in Villanova. And my mom, I mean, I've been in a house that the Pope would come back to Philly and like just hang with some of his priest buddies. So go ahead.
So did you meet him?
No, I never met him.
Oh, way less cool.
Yeah, way less cool. But my mom knows him. So here's the best part. So my mom is Words with Friends, right, with the Pope. So I'm going to give you some breaking scoop here.
Do they still play now that he's the Pope?
No. So they messaged each other. And the Pope basically was like, look, my mom was like, I'm so happy, blah, 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 like it's so amazing. And the Pope was like, I can't believe it. We probably won't be playing Words with Friends as much anymore.
And this is after he was elected?
After he was elected. Yeah.
So your mom did swap DMs.
Yes.
With the Pope.
Yes.
After he became Pope.
Yes.
That's actually incredible.
It's amazing.
That's incredible.
It's amazing. And I don't want to read it word for word because I don't want to betray my mom's trust, but I will tell you that that's exactly what happened. So props to my mom. Love her so much. And, that's like the Super Bowl for someone like her, and it very well should be. And I'm stoked about this guy. Honestly, like, as an aside, I'm getting married to Villanova in June. I think Christy's excited because of the Pope. I think we may be moving her back over to the world of the spirit, which is always good if you can take an agnostic and get him on your team, because I'm all about faith, baby. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, and I think it'll do wonders for the Catholic faith in America, because we got a Chicago guy. Anything else, Scotty, before we take a quick break and go to Cam? I just dropped here.
I need your mom to get him on the show.
Could you imagine? All right, Cam's coming up next.
He's falling out of his chair.
I just hurt myself. Cam's coming up.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
OsleyMD.com.
I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
OsleyMD.com.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress. It's like a wearable hug for your nervous system that helps you calm down and feel better. The Apollo wearable will send gentle vibrations to your body, like a song you can feel instead of hear. You feel better, you sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com.
It It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Angles 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Angles90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Cameron Stewart joins us live from Chicago. The Celtics clinging to life after a huge win yesterday. Cameron?
Peter?
Am I too loud for you? Everything all right?
No, it's good.
Hey,
I just got I got this glare. It's coming in a little too hot behind me. You see that?
No, you actually look really good.
No, thank you.
It's just on your end. No, you look like healthy.
Right.
You're actually are you getting in a better shape?
Actually, no. I've been in the opposite direction the last few weeks. I was working out Peloton. Wasn't the greatest strength training, but got some good cardio. I was working out like every day, like 5 days a week, I would say, for like 3 months there. But with this new NHL thing, it's just kind of thrown my schedule into flux. So it's been mostly walking the dog.
On every night following the conclusion of that evening's NHL game.
4 nights
correct?
a week. Yeah.
4 nights a week.
Yeah. Yep. Just breaking down the highlights. We can't show the highlights, but you know what I mean. The games, the scores, the happenings, and
is it you and somebody else?
Yep. Tyler Feldman is my co-host. We're usually Monday through Wednesday, but most of the time it's Sunday through Wednesday.
Okay.
So we'll break it down tonight.
How's Grace with this?
She's been great, man. She's been great with it. We'll have our show that we'll watch post dinner, and I'll have whatever the game is on my laptop.
Yeah.
And check it in. And by the time I'm working, she's asleep. She can't hear me. So it's great.
Have you done any of those shows under the influence of gummies?
No.
All right, good
No.
for you.
Although I kind of think I can, which is maybe
maybe
Mad
Dog
not the
says
right
he
thing.
can do it. So why can't you?
I mean, like, first, I could definitely do a show with it. It could be bad. But the other thing is that at the time I'm usually taking them, I'm usually down by 11:30 or midnight, which is when I'm doing this. Like, I'm not like asleep, like I'm just down from the high. So I could, but I don't know. It's a lot of focus the whole night. So probably won't be testing it.
You're going to be focused tonight. Any thoughts on the draft lottery and where Cooper Flag could end up before you get to your Celtics?
I do have a bold pick. I think Cooper Flag is going to end up with whomever has the number 1 pick in the draft. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Great night for Maine. I don't know, man. They all suck, Pete. They all suck. Like, either way, he's going to a dumpster fire. I don't want to see him end up in Washington, even though they have the best odds, right? I think they have the best odds. Mm-hmm. Because that's
Washington,
a nothing
Salt
franchise.
Lake City and Charlotte.
Ooh, Utah could be good.
Yeah.
Utah, they could build around him pretty quickly.
Philly's at 10.5%, dude.
Oh, God. He didn't want to go to Philly, man.
No. And I had people from inside the NBA, legit people, tell me that, like, the Raptors are at 7. Like, no way he'll end up there. Like, won't happen on the NBA's watch.
Really? Take him out of the U.S.?
Yeah.
Even though it is a better market than Charlotte and Salt Lake City, but
I would think so. All right, let's how about tonight? I've been trying to talk to you about this. I told you I foolishly bet against your Celtics on Saturday. It was nice because it was one of those things where I was like, I didn't even have any emotions invested in the game after like the first 30 minutes.
I guess. It's also nice that you were going to root against the Celtics anyway.
Yeah,
you were going to root for your Knicks.
Yeah, I like the Knicks. It's exciting.
It's really exciting. Yeah.
It is.
Bringing out all these loser players.
Tonight is a huge, like one of the bigger games in the last quarter century for the Knicks. There's no question.
Which is sad. But yes, no, it is. It is. And so was Saturday. It was a big deal. I got such a tickle on Saturday when they show Celebrity Row and the Knicks legends. And it's all these guys that just didn't win shit. It's Bernard King, great player, Patrick Ewing, Allen Houston, all these guys. And I'm like, hell yeah, man. Do a Celtics Celebrity Row. Like, there's no way you can get through 3 former players with 0 NBA titles the way the Knicks can do. And it's just, I don't know. We're different, Pete. but I had that emotional connection where obviously I'm a Celtics fan. I'm going to root against the Knicks anyway. But I just see all those celebrities there, and I'm like, I want this team to lose. I don't want these people. I don't want these people to be happier. They make like $40 million a year. I don't want them. This is not for the regular
Ben
people.
Stiller's dealing with a loss.
What, of his dad 5 years ago?
I mean, a loss of the Knicks.
Oh, yeah. I don't care. I think it's a little bit easier for him and Timothy Chalamet to get over the losses than it is for me, Pete.
I love that Chalamet. He is amazing. He's amazing. He is an amazing actor, an amazing dude, an actual real sports fan. Like, Chalamet's the real deal, dude. And if he's not a sports fan, he cared enough to get very prepared before Countdown or Game Day when he was on. Scotty,
okay.
Right? Scotty was a big fan.
Dude, I am a big fan. Have you seen the clip of him as like a 13-year-old, 12-year-old waiting outside the subway because he knew where like the certain, I think it was Knicks players then too, certain players were going to get off and he got autographs and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, he's legit basketball fan in particular, yeah.
So that's everything you actually like in a person.
Yeah, I don't like him. I mean, he's fine. He seems like a nice guy. I'm not going to root for Timothy Chalamet because the Knicks are playing. Like, no way, man. What? No.
Amazing.
I appreciate him being a fan and not being fair weather.
Amazing and a complete unknown. Amazing.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Heard it's great, though. Everyone
Will
says
you
it's
not
great.
watch it under protest?
No. It takes a lot for me to get on music biopics because most of them are disappointing.
Yes.
And I'm not like a huge Bob Dylan fan. I appreciate Bob Dylan, but I think to bring it back, my favorite resident ever from Hibbing, Minnesota, it's Bob Dylan #2, Kevin McHale #1. So.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Thank you.
Hey, Cam, one more thing before I ask you more about this series. What was the most disappointing, if you had one, the most disappointing biopic of a musician?
Oh, man.
I have two that I saw in the theater that I was so heartbroken about.
This is almost a tough one to categorize. So, I mean, the one that ended for me, it's the Buddy Holly story starring Gary Busey.
He got an Oscar nomination.
Yeah, I know. He shouldn't have. I love Buddy Holly. He's one of my favorites ever. And on the surface, it's a fine movie from 1978. But it just didn't really characterize him well at all. Like, all his friends, this was 20 years after he died. So this was not like all his friends were still alive. And they were like, yeah, this just wasn't the Buddy we knew at all. Like, he wasn't this abrasive. He wasn't this, hell-bent on success. He was just a guy kind of living his dream. And so you hear kind of the stories from that. And I'm like, I hate that. That he's being just totally mischaracterized in this biopic. But like Great Balls of Fire, the Jerry Lee Lewis one is absolutely horrible with Dennis Quaid and Winona Ryder in what is a really problematic story and can be like a really interesting look. But when Jerry Lee Lewis is one of the EPs, it's obviously not going to be that. And the other one that comes to mind is I Saw the Light, the Hank Williams biopic with Tom Hiddleston as Hank Williams. I just had a lot of promise in that, and it's just okay. Like, it's very run of the mill. That's what happens with most of them. There's not a lot of teeth to them.
Yeah.
Like Bohemian Rhapsody was like that. Like, it's just, is anybody going to remember that movie in 20 years, really? I don't know. It's more interesting to find the ones that are actually good. Though. But anyway, what are yours?
Oh, man.
Now that I just gave you like 6.
Well, the Elton John one was so atrocious, dude. It was so bad. It was like a musical. I didn't see that coming. It was two of the things I hated the most.
Yeah.
I didn't love the Bob Marley movie either. It was okay.
It's not great reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with the Elton John one, because I agree, I don't like it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you why it's a good movie. But it came out the same year, I think, as Bohemian Rhapsody, and at least they took some chances with it. I'll give it that. They took a shot with something different rather than a straight lace blowing of the subject.
Another one, and maybe you share similar sentiments with me. When I was living in Monroe, and even when I first moved to Waco, like, I had nothing going. So these movies, in Springfield, Massachusetts too,
hell yeah,
these movies were everything to me. Like
music biopics was everything to you?
No, movies in general.
Okay,
So if I went to see a movie, it was like a big deal. It was like my weekend, right? Like I had a lot of stock in this. Like, and if the movie sucked, it was such a bummer. And Andre 3000 as James Brown was really, really, really disappointing. It was really disappointing.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
When was this?
I think it was 2015, 2014. Yeah.
And you're sure it was Andre 3000? You're sure it wasn't Chadwick Boseman?
Oh, was it Chadwick Boseman? Andre 3000 played Jimi Hendrix. I saw that one. Okay. So,
because like as I was sifting through this, I was like, there was a James Brown movie. Now I do remember.
Good job.
But I don't remember Andre 3000.
And by the way, bear
That's
the truth. I sent us a message about that. Andre 3000 as Jimi Hendrix was no good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see that.
I want to chime in here.
Please.
If you want to know the biggest injustice or the biggest pointer that the Oscars are a shab, they're fake, is for Bohemian Rhapsody, Rami Malek did not sing anything. He lip-synced to a combination of actual Freddie Mercury tape, an AI, and an impersonator. They kind of blended to make Freddie Mercury's voice, and then he lip-synced. That's fine, but he won Best Actor for it. Chalamet, Cam, learned how to play the guitar, learned all the music himself, and then sang live on camera. It's all live music as he's performing in the film. It's incredible. So
good call, Scotty.
Complete Unknown's legit, is my point.
Stop dumping on
Hey, whoa, I wasn't arguing that Rami Malek should have won. No, I thought that movie sucked, man. He was just, all he did in that movie was talk with oversized teeth and be like, oh, we need
that movie was kind of cool. It was like a neat window into Freddie Mercury. I liked it. I'll tell you another one that was this one was a home run, in my opinion. And if you got the time,
there's
the
two
Doors.
from the mid-odds. Oh, yes. Yeah, Pete.
Val
Go
Kilmer
talk your shit, man.
it.
Yes, Val.
Yeah. It was very, very good. It was a very good look at Jim Morrison. It was sad. It was very dark. It was Oliver Stone, so it was kind of perfect.
Yeah, and it's like it's a little weird, but it's like, brother, it's about the Doors, man. Like they're just tripping on acid in the 60s. Yeah, I think that's a really good one. There's two good ones from the mid-aughts. That would be Ray and Walk the Line, which they're not trying to do too much with it. They're just straight-laced, but telling the true story, like not trying to sugarcoat anything either.
Yes. There's a lot out there. There's a lot to choose from out there. All right, it's come to the time, but I need you to tell me. How would you? What's the
Amy Winehouse one? Yeesh.
Which one? Oh, Amy Winehouse. Yeah, I didn't get through it.
Totally.
I started
bombed.
it. I couldn't finish it.
Great documentary. Great documentary about it.
Yeah. Is part of the issue now that we have so many good documentaries out there. Like, why the hell am I going to watch something fictitious when I can watch something real? That's where I run into this problem all the time.
You know what's so funny is my girlfriend has the exact opposite take. I'm more with you. I love movies, but I also really love a well-made documentary. And that's why I didn't see the Amy Winehouse movie, because the documentary was perfect. It was awesome. It gave a very real account of her life. And so I don't need, but Grace is the exact opposite. She's like, well, if I can see real actors doing it, why don't I see? Because I'm like, because it's not real. It's fake. And like, I love film. I'm not, knocking the medium of film, but it's like, come on, man. Like, this is the real story here. If you saw like McFarland County, USA, and you're like, wow, I'd rather watch the dramatized movie of that. It's like, it's right here. It's in real life.
I got another one. Grace will love it, obviously. Straight Outta Compton is awesome. Yeah. That is a very, very, very underrated movie.
That's my favorite music biopic.
Yes, it's
That's
amazing.
the best one.
Yeah.
I thought it was above average. It was like a 102 OPS plus. Better than Notorious, which I watched a ton as a kid. Better than Get Rich or Die Trying, which is awful. Better than 8 Mile, which is cool.
Yeah.
I like the vibes of Notorious. The kids still
I saw
say that?
Notorious in the theater. Yeah, it was good.
Was that one of your weekends?
No, this is
2009.
This is 2009. I was still I was working for the Sixers. Okay. Speaking of the NBA.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I've really derailed this. How
did the Celtics win the 3 games? How did the Celtics get out of this? They're still in a jam.
Yeah, so I've gone back and forth like 100 times on this since game 3. I thought they were done after game 2. Like I didn't think they would get swept necessarily, but I did think they were done. And even as I'm watching game 3 and they're up by 20 for a good bit of that game, I'm watching Porzingis giving you absolutely nothing on the defensive end, being an absolute pile-on. Brown is clearly not 100%, even though he had some spurts in that game. And I was just thinking, I'm like, are the Celtics healthy enough to win this series? Like, I don't think they are. But then, Jalen Brunson gets banged up a lot. Karl Anthony Towns clearly hurt something in his hand, was telling people, lip syncers were saying he thought it was broken. The whole Mitch Rob thing with he's on borrowed time and can't hit free throws. Like, there's plenty of kind of kinks in the armor for the Knicks too. So I think whoever wins this game is going to win the series. Whoever wins this game tonight. And the pressure is on the Knicks more than it is the Celtics. But even if the Celtics have one of those games where you're like, oh man, they missed wide open threes again. Like, at that point, it's 3 games you're down. The 3-1, right? You've given up 3 games because, the breaks just didn't go your way. It's like, that doesn't matter at this point. It's 3-1. And I think the Knicks have closed out better in this series than the Celtics have. So if they're up 3-1, I think the Knicks take this series. But if the Celtics do what they did Saturday night or anything close to it and take them out of the game pretty early and take that celebrities row out of the game early, then they'll have all the momentum in the series. And I think at that point, the avalanche would be too great for the Knicks to overcome. I just think the Celtics are still the better team, but it all comes down to tonight, Pete. All comes down to tonight.
All right, and it comes down to the Cam show. He's starting up now in a couple minutes.
Which we will be talking about this.
What?
Believe it or not, we will be talking about this.
And I'll be listening. And I'm going to join Cam in segment 3. Yes. So if you want some more, you know where to go. All right, Cam Stewart, you're a legend. Appreciate it, dude.
Thanks for having me,
40
Pete.
Minutes.
All right, sounds good.
All right, check out the Cam show. Make sure you join us back here tomorrow. The Pete Sousa show rolls on. We're going to get into some odds this week with Murph B when we talk about the PGA. Right? No, the U.S. Open. Sorry. See, that's why we have Murph. U.S. Open's coming up. We'll talk to Murph about it. And is it the PGA or U.S. Open? Anybody? Hold on. Let's get an official word here so we're not complete jokesters. Is it? Hold on. Let's see. It's in Charlotte. It's a PGA championship. Okay, there you go. So we'll be talking about that this week and plenty more to come on the Pete Sousa Show. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Slovacics. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.